The Mandela effect. At its core is change. Change from the world we grew up in. Change from the world we expected to create. If you are honest, you will see that the world we live in today is not quite the world we lived in 20 years ago. Whether you are a child of the 70s, 80s, or 90s, you know that this world is not what we were building in those decades. We had already experienced all the racial strife we could stomach. We built a world where everyone just got along. We designed a place where men and women were equal, yet we still recognized the difference and uniqueness between the sexes. We took a common sense approach to solving our problems, and when things weren't going so good, we all pulled together and made it right. That is not the world we live in today. In today's world, we cannot even agree on a quote from an old movie, much less the larger issues. Today we marvel at how the maps have changed, and we find the places that just don't exist. We find residue that matches our old memories, but we're told we are wrong, and those memories are nothing more than manufactured figments of our imagination. Things we thought were fairy tales are now real, and old friends are now strangers whom we never knew at all. Cherished memories are now tainted by doubt, and the words tolerance and inclusion have been perverted to mean something they were never supposed to. Science is now secondary to popular opinion and popular sentiment. In effect, the whole world has been turned upside down. Now I say that metaphorically, but perhaps it's a bit more literal than we'd care to believe. We are told by many ancient cultures that the sun and moon and stars are not right, yet we pay no heed to their warnings. We scoff at those who don't hold the same beliefs as we do. In yesterday's world, we respected the wisdom of our elders. But today, we say they are stuck in the past, and we relegate them and their wisdom to out-of-the-way corners so we can live on in blissful ignorance. But the time is coming when we will not be able to deny these changes any longer. These small edits are getting larger and larger and more impactful every day. Soon, we will be living in a sci-fi novel, and it won't be a utopian dream where everyone is happy and fulfilled. No, it will be an ugly future full of ugly people concerned only with themselves. Because the Mandela effect didn't only change our past, but our future. With the seeds of doubt and discourse sown, we will reap the crops of hate and bloodshed. As the world wobbles forth in its endless chase for the sun, we too wobble in doubt of where we have been, and therefore where we are heading. What's the cause, you might ask? It's hard to say for sure. Perhaps a large planetary body whose sheer size and proximity is enough to collapse space and time in around us? Is it CERN? Is it quantum computers? All of these are likely suspects, but we, the little folk, have no way of really knowing. The knowledge required to understand the real situation is locked up behind layers of security clearance, position, or privilege. It's deemed classified for only those in power to understand, and the rest of us to blindly fumble about and look for like lost kittens searching for their mother. We can accept this fate and let it lead us into the future, or we can seek out change and take back the world that we have worked so hard for. How, you might ask? First, we must find the truth. What is the cause? Why are there so many asteroids buzzing around the planet now? It wasn't like that 20 years ago. Why do we hate those with opinions other than our own? We didn't used to. Why do we have to blame a particular group of people for all of our ills? We used to take personal responsibility. Like many YouTubers, I speak directly with my audience sometimes. I am often asked why it's just the small things that have changed. If you consider new organs in the body and changes to human anatomy in general very small, I envy you. If you think that the addition of new animals to the genus is a tiny, irrelevant fact, I ask you, what is a big one? If you think that the entire world changing before your very eyes is normal, then I cannot change your mind. I can only point you in a direction. Whether you choose to travel that road is up to you. I chose that road, and it's not for everyone. Many times I've wished that I was just an ordinary sheep living in the world of blissful ignorance. Earlier today, I was speaking with one of my favorite subscribers, and I learned something new, as I often do when interacting with the community. I learned to never assume. Even though I have learned that lesson 1,000 times before, I learned it again today. As I explained to her, my dream job would be to live in and run a lighthouse and do a radio show like Coast to Coast AM. I spent many nights as a young man listening to Art Bell, as I'm sure many of you have, interviewing everyone from UFO enthusiasts to Bigfoot hunters and everyone in between. It was a magical time slot for that late night crowd who were up late thinking about life's strange possibilities, while the straight world slept comfortably, powering up to head into their sheeple jobs the next day. I too spent many a day yawning at my sheeple job because I stayed up to listen to the whole show, and other days I would spend fantasizing about having my own show one day, where I could interact with my audience in my community, those who thought like I did. And in a way I have done that. The platform is different, yet the main tenets of a back and forth between myself and the community is there. For this I am grateful. In summation, I'll read you a quote that I learned when I was a young man. The quote was from Albert Einstein, and it made such an impression on me that I decided to live my life by its simple yet insightful message. This quote guides everything I do in almost every aspect of my life. You will see it in every video I produce and every topic I speak to. It is the single driving force that shapes my personality, outlook on life, research, and attitude. The mantra is, I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. Thank you so very much for watching, and I hope that you will like and subscribe.